Hi, I'm Alejandra Sardoyans. I'm a freelance creative and I try to inspire people to live more sustainable lives. This is the third time I'm trying to film this video because in the video I am gonna say that you should use daylight, and I try to use daylight myself, but also I live in Copenhagen in Scandinavia, and the daylight is not always super bright, so I have tried to boost up the light with a ring light, and I hope this version will be better because otherwise there will not be a video. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through a few recommendations and things to think about when you are selling on Facebook Marketplace or when you're posting an ad on Facebook Marketplace. A listing. Is a listing a better word? Anyways, a little thing that you want to sell on Facebook Marketplace, because we should stop buying new. We should try and buy secondhand first, always. I've been buying things secondhand for a lot of years now. I also still buy new things, but then I'm very picky about what and how they are produced and so on. But in this video, we'll talk Facebook Marketplace. The most important thing when you are selling on Facebook Marketplace is to have good photos of the item, the thing, the plant, the book, the sofa that you are trying to sell. It's important that you use photos that you have taken yourself. I think it's okay to use product photos from the website or from the brand's website if they make sense, but try to use your own photos. There can be like copyright issues with just using photos that you find online, but that's another topic. So what's a good photo? A good photo is something that shows the product in a good way, and good way is true way. So you wanna make the buyer understand what they are buying by just looking at the photo. So let's see if I have something I can show. Okay, here's a pillow. I want to give a good representation of this pillow if I'm trying to sell it, but also a true representation. So when I'm taking a photo of this pillow, I would prefer to do it against a somewhat white background, and I would probably take a photo that shows the pillow, the pattern, I don't know, and maybe in comparison to other things. So it can sometimes be nice to stage the photo, but you don't want to stage it or unless you really want to and have a lot of time. Of course, you can stage the photo and create a whole photo shoot, but it would make more sense to just put it in a setting where it looks good and it makes sense and it looks the way it should look. You would be surprised how many bad photos there are on Facebook Marketplace, and bad photos are very dark photos where you can't really see what is being sold. Photos where the color doesn't really match, maybe it looks brown, but in reality it's yellow. So you want to make sure that the color is represented somewhat correctly. Blurry photos, did I mention that? Or just weird photos. Like when I'm buying something, even though I know it has belonged to someone else before me, I don't want to see their laundry in the background. I don't want to go home to someone and see their laundry, so I don't want to buy something where it doesn't look like it comes from a nice apartment, if that makes sense. And by nice, I have very low standards. It doesn't have to be like a very fancy setting, but just make the photo focus on the item that you are selling. Don't show any weird stuff. When you are taking a good photo, daylight is great. As I was saying, sometimes in Scandinavia, the daylight is a bit dark. But if you have the opportunity, take a photo in daylight. The daylight, especially on gray days, is super nice to take photos in general, because it's like the sky is a giant soft box. So it gives like a nice and soft, even light. So if you have a gray but bright day, take that opportunity to take photos of your listings. The second thing that is also super important when you are selling on Facebook Marketplace or wherever online is the description. So you have the title and you have this box where you can describe your product. So the title, I think, should describe the product but still be short. So sometimes I see ads where it only says couch, and that doesn't give me as a buyer too many opportunities or chances to find that exact item. Because if I'm searching for a green vintage couch, which I actually am, then I will probably find other matches that are better. So just saying like couch is not a good description. You want to think like, what would people search on? Would they search on the color? Maybe. Would they search on the size? Is it a small or a big couch? Is it, I don't know, a rattan couch? I have a rattan couch next to me. Maybe that's a good word to use. Is it a designer couch? Maybe you want to include the brand name. In the description, you want to give as much information as possible without being crazy. So you want to add the measurements. I see a lot of people forget about the measurements and only post, again, if it's a couch, they only post like couch, pink couch or something. So you want to make sure that you have all the information there that the customer needs. So when I see your ad on Facebook Marketplace, I don't want to have to take the extra step just to ask you how big is the couch, and then find out that it's too small or too big. So you're saving yourself a lot of time when you are selling on Facebook Marketplace if you include all of the important information in the description from the start. If you have a good item that a lot of people want to buy, you will get a lot of messages and you don't want to be responding to the same question over and over. So make sure that you have measurements, material if that's important. You also want to include the condition. Is it in good condition? Is it in perfect condition? Does it have any signs of wear? Also, if you are selling things where you can't really tell if it's defected or not, like a lamp for instance, maybe you can't see that it glitches sometimes or something like that. You should post both a photo if there is a visible tear or a visible defect on the product and list it in the description, because you don't want to have someone find out eventually and be upset with you and contacting you about that. So just avoid that. Be a nice seller. I wanted to say a few words about pricing. Obviously, this depends on where you are located, how many people there are in your area, and what kind of item it is. My first recommendation would be to search on similar products and see what they are listed for. My second advice is to remember that people are not paying for the sentimental value that you have. You might have great memories attached to a pillow and therefore you find it to be more valuable than someone else might. Don't charge for that, because people are not gonna pay for your sentimental values unless it's like Mick Jagger sat on this pillow and I actually have a photo of it, then you can charge more. Otherwise, it's just a pillow and you should list it for the price that pillows are sold for. Selling things on Facebook Marketplace will give you some extra income, much needed before Christmas. And it's also super nice to declutter and get rid of things that you no longer use or need or find any use for. And it also makes it easier for people that want to buy secondhand and doesn't like buying new things because of climate reasons or any other reasons, to help them find the things secondhand. There are many of us that try to buy things pre-loved and used and secondhand because we want to save money, or we don't like supporting this super fast industry of consuming new things all the time. So yeah, it's a nice thing to do for climate as well. A thing to remember is that Facebook will push the ads towards people, or your listing towards people that they think will like them. That's how the algorithm works. So if you have good photos and use good words, that means people will find them and you will find someone that wants to buy your couch or your lamp and so on. In the description, you also want to include the color. I've seen that a lot of people forgets about the color, and it's quite important because when we are searching for things, we usually care whether the lamp that we want to buy is black or if it's chrome or if it's gold. You want to also use words like, is it vintage? Is it really vintage, or does it look vintage? Maybe only use the word vintage if it really is vintage. If you know the style of the thing that you are trying to sell, include that. What to sell on Facebook Marketplace? I've noticed that things that are often listed and that I look for on Facebook Marketplace and that I've seen a lot of people post about is home decor, like home interior stuff, furniture, also plants. I've seen a lot of plants, and I have never bought plants on Facebook Marketplace, but I have sold plants on Facebook Marketplace. So that's always good. If you also cuttings, like if you have a plant that is thriving, you can sell a little cutting. If it has roots, include that. Rooted Monstera arabiata is not the word, but if you know the proper word of the plant, you should put that in the title. Kitchenware, kitchen stuff in general, like anything in a home. I think Facebook Marketplace is mostly for homey stuff. It can either be like vases or decor stuff, prints, art, bookshelves, a lot of bookshelves. But also clothes, like I could sell this on Facebook Marketplace, but usually there are other websites that focus only on fashion and clothes that are better for that use. But it doesn't hurt to post on Facebook Marketplace. It's free, a lot of people use it, and yeah, you can always try and tweak things. Facebook will ask you after 4 weeks, or if it's 3 weeks, like, hey, this item doesn't seem like it's sold. Do you want to renew your ad? Yes, no, whatever you want to do. I hope this video was helpful. If it wasn't, don't let me know. If it was, give me a thumbs up. But you are allowed to write a comment in the description asking me, hey Alejandra, could you do a video about this topic? I live in Copenhagen. I go to a lot of wine bars here. I have a good knowledge of where to thrift and buy secondhand fashion, home decor. I also have a lot of videos about that, but if there's something specifically that you want to see, let me know. This is your chance. Hope to see you soon again. Take care. Hej då från Köpenhamn.